Okay, I'm still looking at fenders here. Digging around my... I was putting away fenders and I dug across this one. This is a Fat Boy front fender for, 90s. So I'm looking at it. It's got the right shape. It's got the curve all the way around like I want radius. It's got the wider width to it. But I can still put a nice fat 18 in here. I could put a 130 18. That would fill that fender up really good. And this one I could probably mount this with the fender strut, whatever I just did with that. This would fit on the inside of the frame like this. Yeah, that blends in pretty good. It actually fits this damn fender, I don't believe it. But we're going to have to angle this up quite a bit. I have to get up high enough to clear, so I'd have to cut the... I have to modify the strut to get up higher, obviously, but it actually doesn't look half bad. Still there?
Yeah.
This actually looks pretty good. Look at it. See the angle here? See how this flattens out?
Yeah.
Matches pretty close.
Oh, that's nice.
I think it's made for it almost.
Yeah, it actually looks good.
Where's that bolt at? I have? We're gonna have to cut the strut or redo this whole bunch. See, it's gonna mount right down here, which you can't use. It needs to be up here. Now, if I mount this with a strut, then I need to. We're gonna have to raise this fender up quite a bit, about here, which I think doesn't look too bad. The tire's so narrow you don't really notice it. Because we need to get our 3 inches of clearance in here.
Right.
Or at least 2.5 inches of clearance. This would be up there like that. Where's that socket I had? Grab me that socket right there.
Big one?
Yeah. So that's our wheel travel.
Right.
Which is almost 3 inches. Now I can limit the travel of suspension and not go 3 inches if I want to. And we can probably drop that down a little bit, but I think it'll be all right. Rotate this forward a little bit more to keep it where we want it to be. I don't think it looks too bad.
That looks good too.
Get right above those rivets. Well, the rivets are way up here. The rivets are kind of fighting with me a little bit. But
Yeah.
they make a reproduction fender, doesn't have the rivets in it, so this fender's a little bit beat up anyway, so I guess get a new fender. But yeah, that doesn't look half bad on there. It looks pretty good actually. It's be pretty high. I don't know. Pull that board out of there. That.
I think that would fly. I like the look.
Almost get that above those rivets. You just put the seat right up the back of it there, or close to it. Not on it. We have a little bit of a gap between it and the fender, but not too bad. About there. That wouldn't be too bad. And the fender's so narrow we don't even have to cut it for the chain. It'll go chained in the inside of it, or the outside of it. It doesn't look too... Struts look good on there. It looks pretty good. And the width ties in a little bit better with the way the bike is, especially the wider swing arm and everything. Come back and look at the back view.
I'll grab the seat.
See what's sit up in here.
Tilt it this way a bit. About like that. Yeah. Yeah, it's got a pretty narrow tire. Tucks in real good.
Yes, I can run a little bit wider tire on it. I put a 130.
Right.
18 tire on it.
What size is this? Like a 3-point something?
Oh, it's the width of a 400, but it's tall, so it's a 450.
Oh.
So it's tall, not skinny. It's skinny and real tall. So we can do something like that. We can always play around a suspension limiter. We can limit the suspension travel so we can have a couple inches too if we want. Then you can bring the fender down a little bit lower. It's just a matter of how much travel we want in the back end of the bike.
Right. And then
we still got to put a tail light of some type on the bike.
Right. And then also how stiff the shocks are, right? Struts.
They should be pretty soft.
Okay.
They should travel pretty good. Usually what I do is I use the license plate to the back, so it's like a big mud flap. So it makes the fender longer even though it doesn't look there. You don't really see it.
Right.
And you just put a little light up in here and just have a plate stick way down here. So that gets, you don't have that look where you're looking under, even though the bike's way up in the air like this. You won't see underneath here because the license plate's back here.
Right.
So, oh, this looks pretty good, I think. Not bad. We'll have to change the whole position here, but that's easy to do. The curved strut looks pretty good on there. Obviously, we'll cut that off, but I don't know. It doesn't look half bad. And then I'll have to modify the swing arm. It'll always run it the way it is. It bolts on. You can clean the chrome off the swing arm a little bit, the dirt and shit, and it'll blend in real good to the derby covers and exhaust pipe. And
right. Just give a little chrome.
It all blends in a little bit better.
Right.
We're going to have a sprocket on here anyway, so the sprocket's probably going to be chromed or something. Now you got to get a black one or a chrome one. That's the only two options. So.
Right.
Or painted silver.
Right.
Match the aluminum rim a little bit.
A little bit.
And the brake rotor will be, I'm trying to keep as small brakes on the bike as I can, small rotors.
We're not putting those banana calipers on it?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm putting those on my floor where they belong. Anyway, that looks decent. Now, if you mount this right to the fender, right to the swing arm, and it drops down real low like this, and we have no struts on it. That goes away. It goes there. But this goes up and down, so the problem is unlike the other fender that would go up inside the oil tank, this one will hit the oil tank.
Right.
So it's going to be a little bit tight up in here. We might have to cut the fender and put a big flat panel there to come up so it goes up against the tank flat.
Yeah, for more clearance.
Yeah. Well, you have to have the clearance. We have to cycle the suspension when I get the shocks in and see what it does. But
Right.
I think it actually looks a little bit better if it's higher up in the air a little bit on this fender. I mean, it sits like that. See, it fills this gap in this right here if you raise this up to here. It makes it less gap here.
Right.
Now this will drop down a little bit here in the back too. Your butt will stay in here if it stays up high like this, but it looks better when it sits lower. So
Right.
it's kind of one of those trade-off deals. So I think it looks better if we raise it up slightly. We'll be able to see a nice rim and tire as you bring it up a little bit, so you can see more of that wheel. I'm trying to make the wheel as big as we can and keep everything else real small. I can also put a real small sprocket on this thing. It's only about this big around. It'll make the wheel look a lot bigger. I just have to change the transmission gearing over here.
Right.
Otherwise the gearing gets way too tall, but instead of having a 51 tooth there, you put a 43 back there. That thing's only that big.
43 tooth in the back?
Yeah.
Wow. What about the front?
Drop it down to a 22.
22.
So the sprocket
22
would not be
tooth.
much bigger than this.
Yeah.
Total.
Wow.
See, this is a 51.
I thought that 46 was the smallest they make.
No, they have a 43.
43?
I think it's even smaller than this. It's smaller.
So but that's only for this model, right?
It's for 4-speed bikes.
This type of hub.
No. No, shovelhead.
Oh, 4-speed bikes, yeah.
Remember, we're using this hub.
That's right, yeah.
We're just not going to use this rim and spokes.
Right.
I've got to take that hub out, or another one, whichever, doesn't matter, and use that. Now, see, that's a 10-inch brake rotor on there, so if you keep that smaller rotor on there, it gives you more clearance. But we can probably go down to a small rotor, that one I just had. This is an 8.5-inch rotor. See, it gets a lot smaller.
Yes.
And if you keep it small on both sides, it makes everything look a lot better.
Cleaner.
See how small that is? We can actually see our wheel and spokes like we're supposed to.
Right.
And if I keep the sprocket small on the other side, it's small on both sides.
Right.
Looks even better. Nobody said you had to use these big ass things on there. You can get the same gearing by just doing it a different way.
You could do whatever you want.
Yeah, so just keep it small,
Practically.
skinny. You can even put a smaller chain on there if you want. You can drop back to, instead of a 530 chain, you can drop it to a
520.
520 or 525.
Mm-hmm.
Probably 525.
Can you put a bicycle chain on there?
Yeah, you can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, my friend does it on his land speed bike. He runs a 4 series chain on it. It looks like a bicycle chain on that damn bike.
I want to bring my beach cruiser over here so you can take the chain off of it.
It's really, really small. It would last about until I dumped the clutch out. I would rip the chain out of that damn bike. But for him it works because he don't drive hard. Alright, so I don't know, I'm thinking that might be a better fender than this other one. It's kind of a toss-up. This one is a lot skinnier, but I don't, the back of the bike isn't that skinny. It's still, with the shocks and everything, it's still pretty fat. We got the big swing arm. So I think this ties a lot better. It's a lot narrower than the regular fender, which is the big FL fender. It's another finger wider. So I don't know. It's kind of a toss-up. It's one of those deals. I don't know. I kind of like it a little bit more, but probably got to cut the duck off down low down there though. It's probably got to go away. But I don't know. We'll see. You never know. I might find something else better laying around yet. I keep digging more junk off my pile. We might have some stuff to play with. We have a bunch of fenders up here in the pile to play with. So we could put a Buell fender back here like that on there. You can get all kinds of shit. See up there is a bunch of fenders. See up there? We got a lot of fenders. We can play around a little bit. But what I don't want to do is I don't want to put a full big rigid fender in the back. That's what I don't want. And I don't really like that look where you take the flap off and just leave the fender on there. I don't like that look either. So I don't want to do that. Alright, more decisions. That's it for now. Alright, we're looking at tail lights right now. So this is our Tombstone, which everybody uses, which happens to have one right on the bike right here, which will work really nice on a full fender with a license plate sticking up here. It looks nice. And it even looks halfway decent when you lay it back a little bit, because the plate just angles back, which is okay. But when you put them up real flat like that, the license plate's going way over here, you can't see it. And it looks like crap being that far up in the fender anyway. And this here is a coil in here, which just happens to be not chrome. Imagine that, huh? Like I pick them when they're not chrome. So that looks a lot better than that stupid modern coil. See how nice and clean it goes in there? It's like it even made to go in that hole, you know?
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, that looks pretty good. It even clears this stupid modern shifter.
Actually, this one lines up with that bottom hole too, right?
Yes, it's like it's made to fit on it for some reason.
Oh, okay.
Like maybe they made that.
Yeah.
Do you think maybe that's what that came off of?
I think so.
Yeah.
They knew you were building a bike like this.
Where's the coil at?
Producing them like this.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to this. Oh, I see the other coil over here. Yeah. Here's the other option. We can run this one.
That looks cool too. Earlier style type of.
That's not early, that's late stuff.
Oh, actually, yeah. Okay.
There's a big ugly cover I can put on it to hide it.
A big old chrome cover.
Well,
Nah.
I was going to paint it black.
No, I think this looks cool.
Or I can put this, instead of being way out here like that, I can shove it in the extra inch
Yeah,
and a
that
half.
looks cool. It's kind of flush with this,
Yeah,
with the frame.
Lays in there where it belongs.
Yeah. Just don't touch that when you're...
It doesn't hurt it when you run it. Okay, so we got the tombstone right here. The generic one you use for everything. There you go. I didn't want the license plate sticking way up this high. It just wasn't the style I was looking for.
Right.
I want to have the plate hanging out the back side, like a mud flap. But, like I said, if you like the plate sticking way up in the air, it's fine, but I just didn't particularly like that style.
It'll slow you down.
Now, there is a trick you can do to make it better, though. You can take the Beehive tail light, license plate bracket, it's angled,
Yep.
and it would lay the plate back down a little bit.
Right.
So there's a way of getting around some of these problems, but it's not very good.
Right. It'll still slow you down. A little less, but it'll slow you down.
Okay, we got the modern 54 tail light. There's the oval light. Like that. And on a narrow fender like this, it's going to be full width.
Right.
And the license plate still comes out the back, so it'd be like that.
Right. I
There's
think.
going to be a slight angle to it.
Right.
You have this nice ugly white line sticking up there.
Oh shit! Then that means that the tail light, the plate goes on the top.
Well, the plate's going to go on the bottom. Yeah,
Oh.
let me see that camera. Now, if you want to see what that looks like on a bike, there's a bike right up there that has one on it, which you can't really see. Where's that flashlight? See, way up there. There's that tail light on a bike. So that's what they look like. And there's a couple more of those tail lights banging out there. See, there's the K model fender with the license plate, stock license plate bracket on it up there too. So, but I didn't want to run the license plate up high. So, see, that's why you keep those bikes laying around so you can compare different looks. There you go. So the other option is the Beehive Light, which is one you asked about. So see, here's that bracket. If you take this bracket right here, and you take it and run on here, you can change the angle of things a little bit. You can make it where it stands up more straight again, even though the light's way over. Or you can flip it over this way and really lay that thing flat.
Right.
So you can still kind of see it from the rear, but it's not sticking up nearly as much. It's like this. See?
Right.
So it's a way of cheating. This is Beehive Light, which I think is going to be the one to use. So it's nice and narrow.
I like that look actually.
Fits in there pretty easily. I didn't particularly want to run this license plate bracket up here like you're supposed to. See, that's what it's for.
Right.
Now once again, we can lay it down like that. We can't see it at all.
Right.
You have different angles you can mount that at.
I see.
Or, like I said, I had the bike like a mud flap. The license plate would stick way down here, which is how I want to do it. And just have this light right here by itself. We can ghost this out pretty good so you won't see it.
Right.
You know, put some black under there or something, or make it so you can't see through it very well. And then on the license plate down here, all you do is take the two little bolts there and put the ones that have the little LED lights in them so the plate would light up.
Right.
And you can see it.
I see.
Or you can also put that little plate on that has the turn signals in it. And you have turn signals too.
Right.
Make the cops happy behind you.
Right.
But I wasn't going to do all that turn signal stuff.
You don't want to use your hands?
I was going to make the bike slightly illegal.
I ride a chopper and I ride outlaw. No turn signals in the front, no turn signals in the back.
Now this one I even put on this fender here because see how narrow it is? See, it fits on there. We can still make it work even on this fender.
Yeah.
And on this it looks pretty good. You put on a big fat fender or one that's sticking straight up in the air, it just looks like crap.
It's just something not right.
Yeah.
It doesn't look right, huh?
Doesn't look right. I think on this application it looks pretty good. Like I said, most of these people don't understand how things actually look. They think they look nice, but they don't really think ahead very far.
Right.
This one here, and this one never really has done anything for me. But they are a popular look. They're definitely better than the late ones.
Right.
Like I said, these look a lot better when they're more straight up and down. They look nice.
Right.
But when they start laying way flat like this, I don't like them at that angle.
Right.
I think it looks kind of stupid. So there you go. We got more options. We got coil options. We got light options. And we still got fender options. And I still need a set of 64 and earlier cheap set of tanks somebody got any laying around. Because I use that same shape from 48 to 60 to 64. Actually, the shape goes all the way back to 36, but it's the actual dash cutout's the same from 48 and up. So, or 47 and up, excuse me. Same thing. But like I said, I don't think Fred's going to want me using his tanks. But, well, that's it. We can get out here tonight sometime. What time is it anyway? Ah, it's only 3:30. It's a long night. All right, that's it.